Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going over my ride. I'm doing some things. I'm getting this thing ready for one of the biggest car audio shows in Florida. Made of Steel show in Florida. But yeah, guys, I mean, Made of Steel is going to be crazy. There are going to be so many people there. If you don't know who Jacob Viral is, then you're not a basshead, but hopefully, I know he's going to be there. Hopefully he can get a demo in here. Owner of Brotherless Audio. I don't know if you know who he is. He's got a sick ride. I'll put a clip in right now of his stuff. It's absolutely crazy. This is going to be one wild show, so stay tuned, guys. It's only like a month away, so it's going to be epic. It's coming up. And I've got an issue with these tweeters now. I know you're saying, oh, well, that's not hooked up. Well, that's not why. I've done some testing and stuff yesterday. And I actually bought a new diaphragm for this tweeter and replaced it, but that wasn't it either. That wasn't the issue. The issue is somewhere in here is the wiring. So what I'm going to do is take all this wiring back out, and then I'm just going to redo some new wiring for just the horns all the way back to the to the 4-channel amp. Now, before I get into that, I really want to talk about this ride. You know what it really takes to bring a nice big ride to a car show, and what really you need. Now, up here I have a dual alternator set up. I have a 320 Mechman and a 370 Singer. There's several ways that you can go about wiring up your alternator system for your car audio system and your vehicle, especially if you have two like I have. Now, one way to do it, you could just take your ground and your positive off of one alternator, and you can run it to your front battery. Whatever you have in your car, AGM, lead acid, whatever. And then you can just run your factory positive and negative to crank your vehicle and do all that stuff, run your lights, all that situation. You know, everything to run the vehicle off of just one alternator. And then you could take your second alternator and you could just run your power and ground all the way straight back to your back lithium bank or battery, well, you know, whatever you have for your charging capabilities. You know, mine, I run a little higher. I run at 15.8 volts. So I have a lithium bank, a spin bank, 96 amp hour. But you know, that's two ways you could do it. Or you could do like I have. You could run them both together, run it over to what is called a battery delete. Basically, it's just bus bars, positive and negative, up here to where your factory wires can hook on, and then you run a power and ground to the back and to your back battery, and then basically this acts as basically just a space for all your connectors to connect, and then everything runs off the battery in the back, vehicle and audio system, which is how I have it. Or there's also a third option you could do. If you only have one alternator, you could just run it to run your alternator together with your lithium bank or your extra headway, and you have AGM up front or lead acid. That's not really that good, but you could also put what they call a super cap up here in place of your regular starting battery, and then that will be able to keep up with your lithium charging or your headway charging instead of, you know, a normal battery, which is actually just going to hurt it being in line with it. So, but anyways, this is how I have mine set up. Like I said, I have a homemade battery delete, and then have my powers running off of each alternator, running into my custom fuse block made by 304 Custom Prints. You can find them on Facebook. And like I said, then there's the power running off the fuse blocks, and then I have a power and ground running to the back. And then I just have ground off of both alternators, and then right here, and then I have also a power running off of each going down to the frame down there. But now on the inside, yeah, I have a wall built-in C-pillar all the way built into the cab, a standalone single DIN Cerwin Vega, so everything's wired running off my lithium bank in the back. And then my bass knob, basically to control the subs. And then there's no cock box, nothing, no EQs. Everything is run straight up here, and then I have Y splitters running to my 4-channel amps. But yeah, how do you build a box like this in this? Well, first off, it takes a lot of wood. A lot of wood. There is, count them, 1, 2, 3 layers. 3 layers thick of 3/4 inch wood for the floors. 3 on the back also. There is 2 on the baffles and 3 on the roofs. And yeah, these are here just to fill in. This is 2 layers on the sides just to fill into the, all the way to the C-pillar there, to the rubber seal, all the way down to basically seal off the front, you know, of the cab, completely sealed. And then all my wires and everything run underneath the box. I have power running on this side, ground and RCA's, speaker wires all on the other side. And then, of course, my sub speaker wires just come straight out the box, old fancy way. We just, you know, blow a bunch of foam and sealing in there. I haven't had no problem with it. Thing does almost 160 dB, so that's okay. And then, like I said, 96 spin bank. I have 3 slap shock 5Ks, 3 subs per amp wired to 1.34. There is 1 wire running off of a splitter off the back of the head unit, a dual to 1 running all the way to this RCA, and then it just daisy chains input to output on each amp. I have short little 1-foot runs for those just to connect the amps, and then they're all wired up, ready to go. Like I said, 1.34 ohms. And then I have my extra fans back here. You know, you need those whenever it's really hot at shows in Florida to keep the airflow back here a little better, keep it cool. I had the amps mounted off, you know, the back wall a little bit so they get a little air space. I don't know if you can see that really good or not, but yeah, they're a little bit off of there, but yeah, it helps. But yeah, basically this is the back of the wall, and yeah, it's 27 cubic foot total, just enough room to get the back enough to put your battery power. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, like I said, I have all my speaker wires and RCA's running on the left side of the vehicle, running on this side of the box. Box is built the same way, pretty much C-pillar all the way out. Got lots of Plex Max. I mean, there's probably $2,000 worth of wood and another almost $1,000 worth of sealant in this vehicle alone just to build this wall. So it takes a lot to build an extreme wall like this. But yeah, there's my single sub RCA wire running in for my first sub amp. I have it running over the top. That way I don't have any interference with ground and RCA's for my 4 channels. All the wires for the door speakers. This is for my tins and my horns. And like I said, I'm about to redo these wires here, and I'll be putting new wire in and everything. I have a little way I had to cut this out a little more to get in there, but I have a way that I can get a little zip tie in here and squeeze the wires through there and fish them through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and get that done, and then this thing will be ready for made of steel. Alright guys, and we are back at it. So thankfully I have some wire laying around, so I don't have to go buy any. So I'm gonna use this a slightly thicker wire here for my positive, and then this for my negative. Alright, so I think I have plenty enough wire. You can see it's running around the back, way around the back, so that'll be enough. Alright guys, so there you go. I stuck it on the end of the speaker wires. As you can see, we're having a good reading now. So now I know that this speaker wire is perfect. It'd be good to run. So let me go ahead and run that through the vehicle and wire them up, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I got everything back in there. So any questions in the comments, anything, let me know. And I'll see you guys at Made of Steel. keep basing.